There's a unique kind of peace that comes from finishing a job with your own two hands. The kind of quiet satisfaction you get from seeing straight lines and perfect joints where chaos used to be. I'm a carpenter, and I had just spent 10 hours installing a floor-to-ceiling library for a client, every shelf level, every screw hidden. I was tired but content as I walked through the nearly deserted parking garage, the air tasting of cool concrete and old exhaust fumes. My truck was exactly where I left it, under the orange glow of a buzzing fluorescent light. But something was wrong. My stomach tightened. Parked beside me, so close I could not have slid a piece of paper between our doors, was a sleek black sedan. They were deep over their line, practically touching my driver's side door. I walked around the whole thing twice. The garage was a ghost town. There were hundreds of empty spots. Hundreds. This was not an accident. This was a statement. It was a deliberate, pointless act of aggression, and the heat started to climb up the back of my neck. My first instinct was primal. I wanted to find a rock. I wanted to key a message into their glossy paint. My hand actually clenched into a fist, and for a second I imagined the satisfying crunch of my steel-toed boot against their headlight. But that is not who I am. I build things, I do not break them. So I sighed, a long, weary breath, and walked around to the passenger side, awkwardly climbing over the center console to get into my seat. As I settled in, fuming, something on the sedan's rear window caught the garage light. It was a small, tasteful decal, a golden spoon crossed with a golden fork, and underneath, in elegant script, it read Gilded Spoon Catering. Suddenly, a new path opened up in my mind, a path that was cleaner, colder, and far more effective than brute force. This was not just some random jerk. This was a professional representing a business, a high-end one by the looks of it. Their image was everything. I pulled out my phone. The flash was blinding in the dim light. I took a picture of the cars, so close they looked like they were fused together. I took a close-up of their license plate. And then I took the most important picture of all, a wide shot showing the decal, the plate, and the absurd lack of space, all in one perfect, damning frame. I spent the drive home composing a very polite, very detailed email to the customer service address I found on their website. I explained the situation calmly, attached my photographic evidence, and simply stated that this level of public discourtesy was shocking for a company that prided itself on impeccable service. I hit send and went to bed. The next morning, an email was waiting for me. It was from the director of operations at Gilded Spoon. It was brief, formal, and had a chill to it that I felt in my bones. It thanked me for my vigilance in upholding community standards and assured me that swift and decisive action has been taken to ensure this employee will no longer represent our brand. A surge of victory washed over me. It was done, justice served cold. A few weeks passed, and the incident faded into a memory of a battle well won. I was finishing up a small cabinet job and stopped by my favorite little coffee shop to grab a late lunch. As I sat stirring my coffee, I could not help but overhear the woman at the table next to me. She was crying softly to her friend. She said her husband, David, had been fired. He was a driver for Gilded Spoon Catering, their best, she said, for 6 years. But the company was in trouble, looking to cut costs, and they had been searching for any reason to let people go. Then she said it. They used one single email complaint, something about his parking on a night he was rushing home because their little girl had a terrible asthma attack and he had forgotten her emergency inhaler. My blood ran cold. The spoon in my hand felt impossibly heavy. The woman pulled out her phone to show her friend a picture, and my eyes were drawn to it against my will. It was a man, smiling, holding a little girl with bright red pigtails on his shoulders. She was holding an inhaler like a tiny trophy, and I realized my clean, precise revenge was never about teaching a lesson. It was just a convenient excuse. I was the anonymous complaint, the tidy little reason a corporation used to ruin a man's life, a man who was just having a very bad night. The satisfaction I had felt was gone, replaced by a hollow sickness in the pit of my stomach. I had not won anything, I had just supplied the ammunition.